I believe, and I'm going to leave after this, but I believe that the only way that cops are going to stop killing black people or stop unjustly killing black people is they got to start getting shot themselves.
Do you think black cops could still be racist?
I don't know, given that's a little bit of a tricky question.
Hey everybody, I am your host, Elad. Today we're reporting to you from Philadelphia, where Trump is giving a town hall. We have some Black Lives Matter protesters who are not happy about that. Let's go talk to some folks, see what's going on. Thank you.
One for Black Americans, one for white Americans. Said Attorney General Trump, who represented Britain's family. His life matters to all of us.
Just got handed one of these.
Each and every one. His entire family.
We're out here today in Philadelphia. As I understand, Trump's giving a town hall nearby. People are protesting against that. Your sign says protesting is patriotic. Can you tell me a little bit more about why you guys came out here today?
Yeah, I think that we understood it as this is our First Amendment right to be out here and say what we believe, and we're tired of sitting at home. Yeah.
As I understand, we've had this really huge Black Lives Matter movement really sweep the country, especially since the death of George Floyd. Can you tell me, what do you guys make of the movement so far? Trump rails against the movement. People here are chanting in support of Black Lives Matter. What do you guys make of that?
I mean, I think Black lives have always been precious to God. And, I'm sad to say that I wasn't aware. I think of the depth of racism until probably 2015 and Trayvon Martin's death. And I know I did a lot of reading at that time. And so, yeah, when this all came to a front, I think it wasn't love to sit at home. Yeah.
Many people are saying America is fundamentally racist. Do you guys think the police and the country is fundamentally racist?
I think we're having to reckon with the fact that it's deeply connected with racism. I don't think in the intentions that it was intended to be racist, but there's a big difference between intention and action.
Absolutely. I had one more question. We were talking about protesting on the other side. This side says pro-life. Trump says of the protests that many of them become violent and turn into riots and complain about those. So do you think rioting and looting that we've been seeing happening in some cities is kind of justified, or would you condemn that?
I mean, I'm only taking responsibility for my actions. Yeah, and I think that sitting at home and doing nothing and not having hard conversations with people is probably more violent, I think.
So do you think the riots are justified?
I don't want to answer that specific question. I think protesting is 100% justified when you see what's going on right now.
Absolutely. I had one last question for you guys. I'm assuming you guys obviously aren't Trump voters, assuming you're voting for Biden in November. Was he your first choice amongst Democrats, or is this the settling choice?
Yeah, good question.
I don't want to speak for you. We were both raised pretty conservative, and I think having seen how the entire Republican Party and Christians in general have been won over by somebody who doesn't espouse our values at all, I think we're willing to vote for anybody to get rid of him.
Are you pro-life?
Yeah, I'm pro-life from cradle all the way till grave. So I think that things.
So pro-choice. Depends on what you count cradle, I guess. Cradling in the tummy.
I mean, I support reproductive rights. Obviously, I don't see abortion as a positive outcome, but I'm much more concerned about people's lives once they're born and what kind of life they're going to have in the United States. And it's really clear that racism endangers people's lives, and that the U.S. was set up to benefit people who look like us our lives.
Donald Trump! 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 Donald Trump!
Awesome. I just thought you had a really cool sign.
Yeah.
We're out here in Philadelphia. Trump's giving a town hall nearby.
Yeah.
You have a sign here that says Donald Trump is an A-head. Can you tell me why you're out here today? Why do you have this sign?
Can I read what it really says? Donald Trump is a kid. Yeah. From Philly with love. We love that word, and Trump is a I'm out here just protesting Donald Trump, his fascist regime. Out here fighting for Black lives. We're dying every day, and I'm just here to do what I can.
Yeah. So I know Trump's running against Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Are you a Joe Biden voter? Do you think he's going to address issues in the black community better than Trump would?
I mean, I'm definitely not excited for Joe Biden, but I'm doing my part. I'm going to vote for him. I hope, I hope he does what he can for the black community, but my expectations and my hopes are really low.
And I know Kamala Harris is the VP. People have been calling her black, like she's black. Does that make you excited at all, Kamala Harris?
Does it make me what?
Excited?
I mean, she's a cop too, so I mean, I'm excited.
So between the 94 crime bill with Joe Biden and then Kamala Harris kind of being a DA, Trump is that bad where all that doesn't even matter.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, Trump is like a racist. You know, he's killing people that look like me, and he doesn't care. I'd rather vote for people that at least care about basic human rights. And I know I can say that about Joe and Kamala. So yeah.
I know in 2016, Trump said, "What do black voters have to lose?" Because he says that black voters haven't been treated well by the Democrats. What do you make of that argument? Trump also, he gave additional funding to historically black colleges.
Yeah.
He had this crime reform. He says that should help. Do you think that'll help at all with the black vote regarding Trump?
I mean, it's definitely not helping at all. Before money, before all of those things, black people just want to live. If we have no life, we can't vote, we can't get money for HBCUs. Before anything, we just want to live. So yeah, I don't think, no, it doesn't help at all.
I had one last topic I wanted to talk to you about. That's the Black Lives Matters movement. Trump says this is a bad movement.
Yeah.
He blames them for a lot of the riots. What do you think of the protests? What do you think of the riots? Do you think all this stuff is justified? I know it's very controversial what's going on. What do you make of it?
I think it's absolutely justified.
Even the riots?
People are angry. People are so angry. We've tried and tried. Black Lives Matter, this movement isn't new. We've been protesting peacefully for years. And when people are angry, it's not my place to judge how people express that anger. So yeah.
Do you feel as though people don't have any other options, and that's what resorted to this rioting?
Absolutely. When you kneel, when you peacefully protest, when you do all these things, when you beg lawmakers, when you vote, when you do everything you can to say, please stop killing us, and nothing happens, I mean, I would be angry too.
Are you concerned it could be counterproductive, like we're burning our own neighborhoods down, some of these owners are of minority descent, and, could it be counterproductive?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely sad to see, but I mean, that's just one small aspect of, the entire movement. I think that as those businesses get destroyed, I hope that black people and persons of color, we can come together and help those businesses that were, otherwise destroyed. Yeah.
I had one last topic I want to talk about. We brought up cops killing black people. I want to talk a little bit more about, we have a lot of integration of black people in these police departments. Some people are saying defund the police. Some people are saying integrate them more. What do you think the solution is? Should they not have guns anymore?
I think the entire system is flawed. I think we've tried. This isn't a new topic. We've given them more money to reform. We've tried and tried.
They've become integrated. We have many black cops.
Exactly. We have a lot of black cops, but that doesn't matter. When black cops take their uniforms off, they're still black.
Do you think black cops could still be racist?
I don't know. That's a little bit of a tricky question.
Like if a black cop kills a black man, do you think BLM should still protest?
Absolutely. I mean, at the heart of BLM, we're protesting police brutality against.
So even a black
people.
cop.
Yeah, there's still cops and they're still brutalizing, our community. So yeah.
Thank you so much for your time. Was there anything else you want to mention?
No, just Black Lives Matter. Stay safe. Everyone wear a mask.
Thank you.
We can hopefully get through this soon. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And Trump's a dickhead.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time.
3 questions.
3 questions. One first question. Why are you guys out here today?
No, because you're
No?
you're starting already.
Why are you guys out here? Okay. All right. Well, thank you guys. No, because
I know,
this
I'm
is the best
nervous.
sign that I'm getting
nervous.
all night. There's no better sign here than that. But thank you guys anyway.
Yeah, but shouldn't you be like, I get nervous when the press isn't unbiased.
When they aren't unbiased?
Yeah.
Oh.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. That's okay. Have a good one, ladies. Thank you. Hey, everybody. I hope you're enjoying the video. If so, fucking mask. If so, the easiest way to support the channel is just by dropping a like, commenting below. Make sure to subscribe. The only other thing you got to do is enjoy the rest of the show.
At a Black Lives Matter protest in downtown Austin.
So what you want to talk about?
I want to talk about the movement while you guys are out here today.
Yeah, honestly, I seen a Trump movement, and I pulled up.
Yeah.
And I'm supporting.
Yeah. So I know we're in Philadelphia. Trump's giving a down hall. We're cheering F Donald Trump. Black Lives Matters. What does the BLM movement mean to you?
It just means just get Trump out, man. Just get Trump out and treat black people as you treat the rest of the humans, as you treat the white people. You know, you treat us like there's a guy over there who's on stage for the whole Trump movement. He's got a phone on his waist. And the question I ask is, if they call the cops, are they going to think that that's a gun on him? Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's not going to happen.
There was a case where the police thought somebody had a gun and they shot him.
You see what I'm saying?
There was a phone, yeah.
And no matter what, it's always going to be black people are we're terrorists or we're ignorant or we're aggressive or it's just, come on, man. There's just too many cases of, you got to think of, they grabbed a man by his shirt and shot him 7 times in the back. You know what I mean?
Do you think the cops are inherently racist and that all cops are racist? Is there a way we could work with them? Because some people are talking defund.
I don't think that it's a complete matter of racism. I think it's a matter of being delusional and not understanding what your power is really for. And so when you get in that position, I mean, you have cops that they pull over drug dealers and, take some of their drugs and let them go. You know what I mean? These are corrupt people. But one point that I like to make is, when people say that there's good cops, I want to know where they're at. Because if a bad cop pulls over somebody for a wrong reason, for a bullshit reason, and a good cop pulls up, and no matter how much bullshit he smells, he's still going to side with that cop. So that automatically turns that good cop to a bad one.
I wanted to ask you, a lot of the people are proposing the solution to this being we could integrate the police forces, more black people, more Hispanics. Do you think that'll help, or is it?
It's not going to matter. You have to start from the top, and you have to destroy it from the top all the way down.
Like a black president? What does that mean, though?
It has nothing to do with race, all right? Race isn't going to matter. Obama got in office, and I'm not saying that, don't get me on my conspiracies, but I'm not saying that, it's a complete matter of race. One, racism's never going to end, ever, okay? Because you always have people who believe that for whatever reason, people are getting shot, like the guy shot 7 times in his back. You have people to believe that maybe he shouldn't have been resistant. Regardless of what, if I'm not complying with the officers, does that warrant a death sentence? Does that mean I deserve to die? So you having a black president, a white president, a green president, it doesn't matter. It's the way they're thinking. All right, it's the thinking that is implemented into these people that are coming out. And we all know, the entire world knows that Trump is a damn fool, and yet and still, he's allowed to run the country. So there's nothing that we can do. There's nothing we can do.
Can I follow up and ask you, we're talking about Trump being racist, the issues with Trump. Many people are saying there's the same issues with Joe Biden between the '94 crime bill, and then Kamala Harris was a cop, she was a DA. Is this a good alternative, or?
It's not gonna matter. No, it doesn't matter. You can put Usain Bolt, all right, in the presidency, and they're still gonna control him and make him do what they see fit. All right, it's not a matter of what a person actually feels and think that it's right that we should implement into the system. We should stop sending armed police officers to peaceful protests. They had a whole rally. Did you hear about the No Mask rally? Did you hear about the No Mask rally?
Is that where,
there was a bunch. It was a whole group of white people all out there protesting no mask, no mask, no mask, no mask. Masks are invasion of our freedom or whatever. There's not one aggressive officer that threw a freaking bomb or shot him with rubber bullets. No tear gas. None of that.
I know at some of these BLM events, or some of these riots, I'm going to call them because they're separate from the protests, there's been some violence, there's been some looting. What do you make of the rioting and looting? Do you think that stuff's justified?
I don't. Okay, I'm going to say this very carefully. I do not promote violence for no reason.
Sure.
For no reason. Now, when you're protesting, and you're still doing it, it's like you're still out here killing people. You killed someone 4 days after you killed George Floyd, and the entire world protested. So it's like, what else are we gonna do? You're not listening to our voices. You're not listening to the peacefulness. You're not listening to the rationality that everyone's using as to why you keep killing us. But if you have another method to say, hey, we're tired of this shit.
This is the last option.
This is the last option.
The last option.
And then it's gonna come to the point where those 2 cops in LA that's gonna keep happening.
Do you think that stuff's justified? So for the people who don't know, there are 2 cops who were shot in the head. I believe neither were actually killed, though.
Neither of them died.
What do you make of that? Do you condemn violence against police?
I partly, yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Because they weren't involved in the shooting, right?
I believe, and I'm gonna leave after this, but I believe that the only way that cops are gonna stop killing black people or stop unjustly killing black people is they gotta start getting shot themselves.
Okay.
And that's just that. You have to start killing them as well.
Okay. So justified.
They're hey,
Yeah.
if our lives don't matter, your fucking lives don't matter either.
Okay.
So you're citizens as well.
Sure.
You know, you have people out here, we're paying your salaries and you're killing us and don't care. And then telling us, hey, well, you shouldn't have resisted.
Don't you think a better dialogue is those lives matter equally instead of our lives don't matter?
Thank you, man.
Dude, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time.
Don't
Yeah. Dude, thank you. Have a good night. Stay safe.
Have a dialogue.
All the regular Antifa roles are here.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. This is very not, it's not bad here at all.
No.
They're very, there's not a lot of them,
Yeah.
and they're not armed with like fake shields or anything. It's very tame. Half of the people aren't Antifa.
Let's get a picture, yeah?
Yeah.
We'll get a picture.
Okay, let's Chris take it.
Chris, can I get a picture?
Take that shit off.
Let's just talk. Oh, yeah.
So we're out here today in Philadelphia. Trump's giving a town hall down the block. People are out here protesting. Can you tell me why you're out here with this, we'll call it an effigy of Trump?
Yeah. Black Lives Matter. These puppets are the biggest fuck you we could come up with, but also I'm from a collective out in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and we made these puppets in response to Trump coming to Tulsa. And we, made them in defense of the community and also to make the protest more fun.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I want to ask you a little bit more because we're talking about Black Lives Matters.
Yeah.
What does Black Lives Matters mean? Sometimes there was murals saying it means defund the police. Some people say it's like an organization, a Marxist organization. Some people say it's just like a phrase that Black Lives Matter, period. What do you make of that and what does it mean?
I'm definitely not a spokesperson for Black Lives Matter. For me, it means that I'm standing with black people who have been killed and are undergoing intense, a slow genocide that's been happening in our country since its founding. And so all it means is that I'm standing and I choose to stand with them, even in the midst and even in the face of fascism. And so, yeah, it's that my own freedom is wrapped up in the freedom of black people and their liberation. That's all I say when I say this. And so when they say Black Lives Matter, whatever the organization is deciding to fight for, I'm in support of that, and I'm in no way directing or speaking for what they want.
Many people are talking about being a good ally, a good white ally, and talking about your white privilege. What do you think you could do as somebody, I guess, with privilege to kind of help the cause, if that makes sense?
It's amplifying is the biggest thing, is that if I'm going to be one person, I can be an even bigger person. I can work together with people to make an even larger sort of symbol that takes up vertical space too and screams the message and comes out to support the events that black people are putting on and that organizers say are important, and just direct as much energy and funds towards organizers of color that I possibly can. So we'll go around and drum up money with the puppet for people's causes, and that seems to go pretty well.
And one last question for you. Obviously, we have the election coming up in November. Trump says of Biden that he signs the 94 crime bill and he's locked up a lot of black people. And Trump responds to that by saying, I had the First Step Act. I'm helping black people. Black people should vote for me. What would you say to somebody who makes that argument?
I think it's really fucked. I mean, that crime bill did horrible, horrible things to communities of color. It breaks my heart to even think about it. But I want to be in a country that's at least trying to be good and striving for equity. And the hope is that Biden will at least not...
It's the 94 crime bill, author, and then between Kamala Harris, who was a DA, I guess it's bad
Kamala
choices.
Harris at least was a very progressive DA, and she gets a lot of shit. I do.
I know they used to say of her that she used to lock people up and she used to hide evidence of the innocent. You don't...
From every
Good, honest DA.
From everything that I have seen of it, really looking into it with the lawyers, I actually know a lawyer who worked in the DA's office there and is going to go work in that office again. She was not prosecuting marijuana cases way before anybody else.
Interesting. Okay.
So I am not in favor.
I know there's big criticisms of Kamala Harris.
As a leftist, I don't want a DA. I mean, I know that I don't want people in the Justice Department.
As a leftist,
anywhere
is there
around.
a good DA? Like, you know,
No,
even if
I
Kamala's a good DA, I mean, what's a good DA?
The thing is that DAs are so powerful that if you do have a progressive one in there, it is ugly work, but at least they get a lot done. And I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I don't really know, but.
Thank you for your time. In conclusion, was there anything else you wanted to mention?
Black Lives Matter. There are five political prisoners in Oklahoma City who are being tried for terrorism, and we got to get them out. So.
Thank you so much for your time, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you. So we're out here today in Philadelphia next to where Trump is talking to some people in the media. He's having a town hall. People are out here protesting. Over here you have a sign that said, "Trump allowed COVID to kill my husband." Can you tell me why you're out here today?
Yes, I'm out here because I did not want my husband's death to be in vain. When we heard about COVID, it was too late. And as a president, he did not take the necessary precautions to help us as a country. He did not tell us about wearing a mask, social distancing, and that it was serious.
So I know there's been a lot of controversy around COVID. What do you think Trump could have done differently? Trump says of himself that he's doing a good job with the pandemic. What would you have wanted him to see him do differently?
To tell the truth, point blank.
On that thing about masks, I know early on the CDC and Dr. Fauci sent out mixed messages about masks. Originally they said masks weren't effective and that we shouldn't wear them. What do you think of the CDC kind of flip-flopping on masks? Do you blame the CDC as well for what happened to your husband?
I still blame Donald Trump because he's the leader of our country.
So I see that you're a person of color. I don't know if your husband was, but I know it disproportionately affects black people in our country. So what do you think about that exacerbating the issue with what we're seeing with the Black Lives Matters movement, COVID disproportionately affecting black people? Where do we go from here?
That's a heavy question. I just think that I could just tell you from my own personal experience. I saw how my husband was treated differently in the hospital. My husband was a social worker, so he was working and helping people every day. And I saw how my husband was moved out of ICU to make room for another patient when clearly he should have stayed in ICU. So what I think that when we talk about disproportionate people of color and people are dying, I think it means a lot of different things. It means about what type of health care are we receiving, what type of information are we receiving, and also what are our doctors actually telling us.
Absolutely. Do you think Joe Biden would have handled the pandemic better, and do you prefer him to Trump in November? Is that who you're going to be voting for?
Yes, I will be voting for Joe Biden. Yes.
One last question. I know Trump said in 2016 of black voters that the Democrats don't treat them well and they don't really have much to lose by voting for Trump. What do you make of that argument, Trump saying that black people don't have anything to lose voting for Democrats who haven't been historically helping them? Or do you think the Democrats do help that community? What do you make of that attack?
I do think they help the black community. I also think that Donald Trump has proven that he has not helped our black community since he has been in office.
Yeah. I know he says he did the First Step Act to try to help release some people from prison who he thinks were locked up unjustifiably. Do you think that was a good move by Trump, enough to sway a vote?
Not enough to sway a vote, no.
Thank you so much for your time. Was there anything else you wanted to mention?
No, please vote for Biden. We must get Trump out of office.
Thank you so much for your time. I'm sorry to hear about what happened to your husband. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. We are out here today in front of Independence Hall where Trump is giving an interview. I see you have a sign over here. It has the Trump hair crossed out, Biden 2020. Can you tell me why you're out here today?
Yeah, I quit my job to do stuff like this, actually.
Wow.
Yeah.
So why'd you quit your job to come out here?
Well, I'm just saying in general, to be more humanitarian, care about people, just be open and diversity and push that type of mission instead of the hate that has been going around our country for the past 4 years.
Yeah. I feel like the big criticism about Biden is that he's not really running on anything except for anti-Trump. Does he have any policies that you really care about, or is it just anti-Trump?
He has nothing I care about. I don't even listen anymore.
So is it just completely anti-Trump and that's why?
Yeah, anti-Trump, pro-Biden, so both.
Was Biden your first choice amongst the Democrats, or was this kind of the guy who you guys just ended up with?
I'll take him. Let's just say that. Yeah.
The number one thing Trump's been talking about nowadays, it feels like, is the BLM protests, and so he calls some of them riots. What do you make of the BLM movement and how Trump talks about it?
I mean, you have to be willing to accept the fact that people have been oppressed in the country. There's been systemic racism here for a long time, and people are tired of it. And you got to wonder what the breaking point is for people. I think November is really going to be a big turning point, regardless of whatever direction it goes.
I know we've been hearing chants of no justice, no peace. We have been seeing some violence, not even completely related to the protest, but I know in Compton yesterday, 2 cops were shot in the face. Do you think it's kind of tense for cops? Do you think it's the cops deserve this tense attitude that's surrounding them in the country nowadays? What do you think of that?
Probably no comment on that. I mean, I can accept the police, but obviously we can't accept for the brutality that's coming along with it.
Last question, if Trump wins in November, would you accept the results of the election?
That's a hard question. I guess it depends if it was fair or not. Yeah. I'm an honest person, so if it looked like it was fair and if it was done honestly, that's one thing. If he's just trying to ride the election results, I think that there's going to be people out on the streets.
In 2016, I know Hillary won the popular vote, and Trump won the Electoral College. If that happens again, where Trump loses the popular vote, do you think that calls into question the kind of effectiveness and authenticity of the election?
I mean, I think at that point we have to accept it for what it is.
Donald Trump!